Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm just working on some writing. You know, sometimes when I'm stuck, I come out here to my favorite park. There's just something about being in a space like this. It's open and calm, with light and shadow making pictures on the ground through the leaves on the trees. There are birds chirping and squirrels darting around. I love to people watch and listen to the things they talk about as they walk by. And then I start to imagine, like, what if this wasn't just a park? What if that tree wasn't just a tree? What if... You might be wondering what kind of writing I'm working on now. Well, my friend Peyton, you remember her from the other book club, right? She just shared something really cool. She said she'd been thinking a lot about a big idea from her book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. She thought this book was all about courage and how people discover their strength in unexpected ways. And it got her wondering, what if she wrote her own fantasy story to explore a big idea more deeply? So she got to writing. And now, it's turning into a full-on challenge. Everyone's in. We're calling it Magic with a Message because each story starts with a message and then builds a magical fantasy world with interesting characters and conflicts to help bring that message to life. So, do you want to join? Let's go. Before we start our fantasy writing, let's reflect on our fantasy reading. You know, we've learned a lot from Peter Pan. Fantasy stories are filled with magic, action, and adventure. And they're full of meaning, too. They can help us think more about big ideas like friendship, home, change, courage, identity, love, and more. Fantasy stories tend to follow patterns. What kinds of patterns have you noticed? Pause to write down what you remember about fantasy stories. Authors of fantasy stories include magical settings and big journeys that are full of clues and repeated symbols. They use characters who surprise us, characters who make tough choices, grow, and learn. This all leads readers to understand the big ideas of the story. Authors build fantasy stories to make us feel something and understand something too. Here's how we're going to build our stories. We'll start with a theme, that big idea or message we care about and want to share with others. Then we'll create a character who connects to that theme. Next, we'll build a conflict, a problem that challenges that character in a meaningful way. And finally, we'll design a world, a magical setting that helps support and show the theme even more. So now that we know what this challenge is all about, magic with a message, it's time to start building a story of our own. Remember, we start with something big. What message do I want to share? How can my story help me say it? All right, my message should be something I have felt, seen, wondered, or cared about. You know, I've always been curious about the kind of people who lead. Not the loudest ones in the room or the ones always trying to be in charge, but the ones who just quietly do the right thing. The ones who notice what others miss, who help without needing a spotlight. Yeah, I want to write about that. So, here's my theme. Theme: quiet people can be strong leaders. Pause here and jot some big ideas you really care or wonder about. Later, one of these big ideas could become your story's theme. Now that I have the big idea I want my story to show, I have to figure out how to show it through the characters, setting, and conflict, just like the authors we've studied. So next up, the characters. Let's think about a main character for now. If my theme is about quiet strength, then what kind of main character should I have? Well, probably not someone loud or flashy, right? Not someone who's trying to take charge. Maybe she's kind, helpful, calm. She listens more than she talks. She notices small details. She likes to stay in the background. Maybe she even dreams of being a scholar, studying history, reading in quiet libraries, learning from the world around her instead of trying to control it. Yeah, that already starts to support my theme. So I'll write character, Lyra, quiet, observant, thoughtful. She's studying to be a scholar in her world. Your story has a message too. What kind of person would help show it? Who will change or learn something in your story? Pause here and think about a character that could help show one of the big ideas you wrote down. Now let's think about the conflict. What's the problem Lyra faces? What's going to challenge her? How can it support my idea that quiet people can be strong leaders? Okay, maybe in her world, everyone wants to be picked as the chosen one. You know, they're showing off, bragging, trying to get noticed by the elders. And the crownwood tree. They think leadership means being bold, loud, and powerful. But maybe Lyra isn't doing any of that. She's not even trying to be in charge. And that actually makes her a better leader because sometimes the person who doesn't want to lead is the one who should. Okay, I have to write this down. Conflict. Everyone else is trying to prove they're the chosen one through big actions. Lyra isn't even trying. She thinks she's not leadership material. Now it's your turn. What's going wrong in your character's world? What is a conflict a character in your story might face? Pause here to jot down those ideas. Last, let's talk about the world. You know, our magical setting where the story takes place. Now that I know my theme, my character, and my conflict, it's time to design a fantasy world that helps bring it all together. If my message is that quiet people can be strong leaders, then maybe the world they live in feels kind of broken, disconnected, leaderless. What if the kingdom is fractured, split into different lands or groups that don't trust each other anymore? Long ago, they were united under one true ruler, but that ruler disappeared. And ever since, everyone's been arguing over who should take their place. There's a prophecy, like a prediction, that the true leader will return when the sacred tree blooms again. That sounds great. Let's get that down. World. A fractured kingdom with a prophecy and a sacred tree that only responds to true leadership. Pause here and imagine your world. What kind of place would help you show your message? What rules or history or magic would bring your theme to life? Jot those ideas down now. Okay, that's it for now. I've got my theme, my character, my conflict, and the world where it all happens. And it all started with a message I wanted to explore. As you build your magic with a message story, think back on the ideas you brainstormed along with me today. Think about how your characters, conflict, and world can help showcase your message. Happy writing! And hey, don't forget to keep reading and working towards your goals, too. I'll see you back here next time at the Book Nook. Hey, hey.